Let's talk to God. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk to God. Woo!
Hey, everybody. Good evening. It's Cutler here, the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast, the Let's Talk to Cutler virtual book club, the Let's Talk to Cutler YouTube channel. And I'm just checking in on this Valentine's Day. So I don't know if many of you would join, if any of you would join. I'm not sure. It's a Thursday, and this is the annual day. This is the Love Fest Day. So many of you might just have to catch this replay. I'm not sure. And I'm not offended by that at all. I tell you, I'm not offended at all. Definitely not at all. I hope that everybody's having a wonderful day. This channel, this station is about inspiration, it's about motivation, it's about challenging ourselves to show up our best selves, even in the worst of situations. It's about making sure that we show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today, making sure that we showed up better today than we did yesterday. And so again, a part of showing up, a part of being better, a part of being inspired, a part of being motivated, a part of being challenged, all that. I think the greatest motivation, I think the greatest source of motivation is founded and rooted in love. And of course, Valentine's Day is all about love. So again, if many people are not here this evening, I totally understand. I'm not offended at all. So I'm just sending lots of love to all of you, because I want to talk about on this Valentine's Day, I want to talk about really this subject of love. But it's good to see so many of you just popping in. I see some of you popping in and popping out, popping in, popping out. So I don't know if there are technical issues, technical difficulties, but I'm always glad to see you all. I want to have a conversation this evening that somewhat offers some very personal things. But again, happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Thank you, those of you who are joining live, those of you who will catch the replay. I'm thankful for all of you today. I really, really am. It's another opportunity for us to spend this time together, these 1,800 seconds, and just see what we can do to tweak our day, tweak our lives, so that we can show up tomorrow better than we did today, so we can work on showing up our best selves, even in the worst of situations. Is that all right? That's what we'll talk about a little bit this evening. Let me just give a great shout out to the LTTC VIPs, the people who just hopped in the chat first this evening. And those persons are Annie Cutler, who says, let's ride, get aboard. Fabulous Me, who says, hey, here for the ride. And Tracy Johnson, who says, hey, everyone, happy Valentine's Day. Well, happy Valentine's Day to all of you all. You know, this is the one day, I think, when everybody's minds are on love. If nothing else, our minds are on love. Our hearts are centered around love. And there's so many love-themed messages around this time of year, around this day. So I wanted to do something that was a little bit consistent with that. But I tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking, how many times, you know, do we find it difficult to love people? Have you ever found it difficult to love people? And I have to tell you that the place where this conversation really comes from, I was sitting in church Sunday, and the minister was talking about love and loving people, and he talked about how sometimes our difficulty with loving people is because we are trying to love them, and we want to love them based on their being. But a lot of times it is their behavior that interrupts our ability to love them, because we want to love them based on who they be, based on who they are, based on who they show up and how they show up. We want to love them based on that. But a lot of times it is the behavior that gets in the way, that makes it difficult for us to love them. And sometimes when it comes to giving that love, one of the things that I discovered, and I was sitting and I was thinking, one of the reasons why it's so difficult sometimes for us to give love is because we have not received. And here's where I'm going. We have not received love. So I find it quite difficult to give what you have not received. It's difficult to give the thing that you don't have. And it made me think, wow. Why is it that we don't necessarily have? Why is it that we don't necessarily have love? M- Might it be because someone or something interrupted our ability to receive love? That's where I'm going. Generally, people who say, they may say, "Yeah, I don't like this and I don't like that one. I don't like this. I don't like that." And oh no, no, I hate him. I hate her. I despise him. I despise her. All of those sorts of things. Might it be difficult to give love because we didn't receive love? And I thought, wow, one of the things that I really want to do is to talk about what does it look like to receive love? How do we receive love? I want to thank those of you who've been with me for a while, those of you who are here this evening, and invite the others who are stopping by for the first time, perhaps, or if you're not stopping by for the first time, you've stopped by before. I just invite you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. This channel, again, is about inspiration, it's about motivation, it's about having those thought-provoking conversations. And tonight we're talking about how to receive love, and it's coming from the notion that sometimes people can't give love because they haven't received love. Now, what was the difficulty with trying to receive love? Maybe somewhere along your youthful experience or your experience before today, something prevented, something blocked your ability to receive love. So, I don't want to talk about people who don't know how to love. I want to help us with receiving love and talking about what that looks like, because I think that if we can receive love and our portals and containers can be so overflowing with love, it will be easier for us to give the thing that we really then have. Sometimes people, have you ever wanted, I just need to go here for a moment. Have you ever wanted someone to love you and you realize that they didn't love you? And you wanted to hold them hostage, you wanted to hold them blame, you wanted to accuse them of not loving you, but might it have been, you all, that they didn't have the capacity to love you? Might it been that they did not have the wherewithal to love you the way that you wanted and or deserve to be loved? I would tell you all this. I would tell you all this, and this is just me having a transparent moment with you all. I will never forget, and most of you all, many of you rather, I can't say most, but many of you might remember the fact that I stood over my father's casket and I eulogized him. And I just have to share this with you all. I stood over my dad's casket and I eulogized him. And we had developed a great relationship. My parents divorced when I was young, but my father and I developed a great relationship in my adult years. But it was not until my father's later years that he ever told me he loved me. Hang on to this. And as we were growing and working on this thing and developing this relationship, it wasn't often that he said he loved me. And the day my father told me he loved me, it startled me. It stunned me, actually. And we went on to have a good relationship, a great relationship, in fact. I eulogized him. And after his death and after committing his body and after his burial, grief does crazy and strange things. And I thought about all the years that I had missed him in my life. I thought about the times when I wanted him there and he wasn't there and all those sorts of things. And so for some strange reason, y'all, please allow me to be honest if you don't mind. For some strange reason, unforgiveness wanted to rear its head. And I knew that I had forgiven my dad, but unforgiveness wanted to rear its ugly head. And I thought, where is this coming from? Is this unforgiveness showing up? Is it rearing its ugly head because I think that I lacked some love somewhere? And I remember the years of wanting gotten it from him. But what I realized, you all, and this is not excusing behavior. This is a real reality check that some of us just don't know how to embrace. And sometimes it may take counseling to embrace this kind of reality check that I'm getting ready to offer us this evening. So please don't y'all log off. Y'all hang on with me. Hang in there with me on this one if you don't mind. The reality check for me was that perhaps those years when I was looking for and longing for something, perhaps he didn't have the capacity to give it. That's something to hear a son say that his father lacked the capacity to love him. That's not everybody's story. That was mine. And so then I had to forgive. I had to forget trying to forgive him, because in my mind, he didn't do something that I thought he was capable of doing. Perhaps he did not have the capacity to love me the way that I wanted or needed it. All right. So love is a strange bedfellow. It really is. But I want to talk about sometimes our inability to give love. I knew that my father lacked the capacity to give the love in certain instances the way that I needed and I wanted it. And I often think now, why is it that people lack the capacity to give? Why do they lack the capacity to give love? It's because maybe they have not received it. And that's not an indictment against him or his family or his parents or anything, but a lot of times we can't give love because we have not received it. Or we have a hard time loving people, telling people we love them. We have a hard time loving and or telling people we love because somehow we failed to receive it. So I want to talk about that. I really want to do. Let me just say, yes, that's true. Some grew up not being told I love you and don't know how to say it, but make sure. Tracy, absolutely. So there are so many people who grow up in loving environments and they know that they are loved, but they just don't hear it. And that's not an indictment against them, because you're right, Tracy. Sometimes they don't hear it, but they see it and they feel it and people show it. But for me in that moment, it was me needing and wanting to hear it. And I didn't hear it. And after burying my father, again, that unforgiveness wanted to creep up. But I had to say to myself, he didn't have the capacity, not during those early years. And it helped me with my grief. It helped me with my closure. It helped me with my mourning. But I'm not necessarily talking about grief and mourning. So I want to talk to this evening about how to receive love. Because a lot of times, you all, we can't give what we don't have. So I want to talk to us because we are worthy of love. What is it to be loved? Let's talk about what it means to be loved. I was trying to think of some wonderful, fancy definitions about what it means to be loved. It just means to be fully appreciated, embraced, and cherished. That's what it means to be loved. That's what people are looking for. When people say looking for love, all the wrong places, looking for love. So when it's about looking for love, it means that you want to be fully embraced, appreciated, and cherished. That's what it means to be loved. So think about it when somebody says, I love you, I cherish you, I embrace you, I fully appreciate you. I see you for who you are, for who you present yourself. And I cherish that. That's love. So let's talk about our difficulties sometimes in receiving love. Appreciated, yes. Love is to be appreciated for being you. Don't have to worry about trying to be anybody else. It means you are appreciated, embraced, and cherished for being you. So so just for a few moments, let's talk about how to really receive love, because I think, you all, we can give more love if we are able to receive more love. Right? Did you all agree with that? We can give more love if we can see ourselves in the position of receiving more love. I can give more of what I get. So let's talk about how to receive it. For one, trust people when they tell you they love you. I get it. Let me just quickly throw out this caveat. Unless you have evidence to prove otherwise, just trust people when they say they love you. Some of us are cynical. Some of us are skeptical. And when people say things like that, we think, do they have an ulterior motive? What is behind that? Are they genuine? Are they sincere? Are they authentic? I say trust people when they tell you they love you. Unless you have evidence to prove otherwise, just trust them. Because here's the thing, you all, you might say to yourself, well, they have no reason to love me. They don't know me. Well, if they don't know you, that means they have no reason to hate you either. So let's switch perspectives. They have no reason to love me, but they have no reason to hate you. Just trust people when they say it. And if you don't think that they mean it, give them an opportunity to prove it. Sometimes we want to hold people guilty until they prove themselves innocent. What about innocent until proven guilty? Oh, you said you love me? Okay, sure, fine. You love me. You have every opportunity to prove it. Go ahead. Let's not push people away just because we don't necessarily trust them when they say it. If you have reason to trust them, that's between you and the situation and the person. So I need to just put that out there. But don't just push people away when they say they love you. If they say they love you, trust them. Give them a chance to prove it. Because here's why I say don't push them away. Because if you push them away, what happens if you ever change your mind? They might not be there. So one of the things that I would say is just trust them. Trust people. One of the reasons we find it difficult to receive love is because some of us may have had a lot of losses in our lives. And I don't mean just losses of relationships, but loss can come in so many forms. It can come through by way of death. It can come by way of just a breakup period. It can come by, you carry all of these emotional scars and all of this emotional baggage. So one of the reasons we can't receive love is because of our prior history. We are creatures of experiences. Our experiences shape us, they form us, they frame us. And a lot of times we fear the loss. Okay, if I allow myself to be loved, I'm going to suffer detachment issues again because I remember what it was like to have this relationship where I loved this individual, and there had to be this detachment either by death or by breakup. One of the things that we are afraid of, it is the fear of losing. And for me, when my dad died, I had built this powerful relationship with my father. This wonderful, I loved my dad. And it was heart-wrenching. Those of you who have buried a parent, you understand, you can understand. Some of you can understand. It was absolutely heart-wrenching. I felt like I just need to be graphic for a moment. I felt like my heart and my guts had been ripped outside and I was forced to still live. And so we fear that kind of loss all over again. And so we close ourselves to being loved because we don't like that kind of pain that comes with losing. But can I tell you all this? Can I tell you this? If you spend all of your life pushing aside love because you're afraid of a loss, you'll become withdrawn and you become cynical and you'll become reclusive. And that's not a happy space to be. That's not a good place to be. And so I think sometimes, even through listening to me and through professional counseling, we have to learn to open ourselves to embrace the love that people offer us. Hattie says, I know that feeling. I'm telling you. And there is some truth, you all. I have to say this. There is some truth to what I'm about to say, this saying. And tell me if you all agree with this. Some people have said it is better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. And I put that again within the context of this past Wednesday. This past Wednesday, I did the eulogy of a 17-year-old boy, young enough to be my grandson. And I stood in the face of his mother and his grandmother and even his great-grandmother as I eulogized him. And they were in excruciating emotional pain. But someone reminded them that might it have been better to have at least had him for these 17 years than to never have had him at all. This is a painful supposition. We fear loss. We don't like loss. But sometimes we have to say, you know what? My life is a little bit better because of the person who's no longer here. So let me be thankful for love and stop fearing the loss. That's all I'm saying. Stop fearing the loss, because life happens. It's just a part of the dynamics of loss. And for those of you who identify with the analogy that I gave about feeling like your hearts and your guts have been ripped out, my condolences. I feel for you. And I'm sorry that any of you have to experience that. I'm sorry that any of you have experienced that. And I know that some of you have. And my extended condolences, because it is something that we will carry forever. But stop fearing the loss. Better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. And I want to talk about this one, y'all. How to receive love. Not only do we receive love by trusting people when they say it, not only do we receive love by stop fearing loss, but we also receive love by, here we go, and I may just be stuck here until we go. We receive love by loving yourself. Sometimes we don't give love because we have not received love. And we have not received love because we don't love ourselves and we don't think ourselves worthy of being loved. This might be a hard step. But if you don't love yourself that much, receiving love is next to impossible, because you just don't believe that you deserve it. And that's what I want to remind us of this evening. You deserve love, you all. You deserve love. I want us to, if you feel like you don't deserve love, may I just really recommend that we just go and sit in front of somebody, get a therapist or a counselor and sit with them, because if you feel that you don't receive love, if you feel that you don't deserve love, it's something that we need to have a conversation about in a professional setting. We need to find our friendly therapists. We need to find our friendly counselors. Because a lot of times we don't think that we deserve love. Why? Because somewhere in our experience, someone told us that we were not worthy to be loved, and we believed it. We believed it. But thank God for all of the people in your life who reminded you that you are worthy of love. Thank God for all of the people in your life who loved you and loved you unconditionally. And may I say thank you for loving the people in your lives, and thank you for loving the people in your families unconditionally. The fact that you are loving people, thank you for spreading love, because we talk about it as a cliche so many times. Let's spread love, spread love, spread love. But may I say thank you, each and every one of you, whether you're on with me now live or whether you would ever catch this replay. Thank you for loving the people in your lives and making sure that they know it. Make sure the people who you love know it. Make sure they know it, you all. Don't close your eyes without, a lot of times we say, make sure that you just tell people that you love them, but make sure that the people who are loved by you know it. And then love yourself. Love yourself and know that you are worthy of love. You deserve love. Everybody is special. We live under the same sun. We breathe the same air. We are deserving of what the earth produces. We are deserving of all of the nutrients and the elements and the benefits equally. We are deserving of love. I can't say that enough. And how dare we, not us, but those who do it, how dare we interrupt the psyche of young people and young children, mess with their little, delicate, gentle minds, and make them think for some reason that they don't deserve love. See, I can talk about this from my experiences. And I'm thankful that I had people in my community. I'm thankful that I had people in my family. I'm thankful that I had people in my village who reminded me that I was loved. I'm thankful for the people who reminded me and let me know that I was loved, because may I transparently say to you, there were people sometimes in my village who made me feel like I didn't deserve love. I'm just being transparent. See, we don't want to be transparent because it's Valentine's Day and we buying roses and chocolates and all this kind of stuff. And, this is the Love Fest day. But think about people who make other people feel like they don't deserve love. And it happens with our small children who then grow up and they perpetuate the same thing. Or then who grow up and they feel like, so now we have children who were taught that they don't deserve love, who grow up to feel like they don't deserve love, and they make a mess of their lives. Unloved people make a mess of their lives. Or at least people who feel as though they are unloved. People who feel like they don't deserve love. So I'm just talking to us this evening. Learn how to receive love. Just learn how to trust people when they say it. Stop fearing the losses. It's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. Learn how to love yourself. Know that you deserve everything that this earth produces the same way everybody else does. And one of the things that this earth produces is love. And I say, open yourself up to love. Learn how to open your heart, your mind, your soul, your spirit. Open up to love. And cherish the fact, be thankful that there are people who care so deeply about you and they want to be connected to you. Be thankful that you are needed by people. Be thankful that you are wanted by people. Be thankful that you are included in the lives of other people. Be thankful. Let love in. Be receptive of all of that. Be thankful. Oh, you want me to come? Oh, you need me to do this? Be thankful for all of that. Oh, you appreciate me? Be thankful for all. Let love in. Learn how to stand in the moment and in the power of love. Love goes around. It really does. Love goes around and around and around and around, and may we all stand in the circle of love. So let it in. Don't block it. Don't even worry about trying to count the times that you feel it. Because let me just say this. Love is not about keeping score. It's not. So you just open yourselves up to it. I deserve to be loved. Let me just let it in. Let me not block it. I know people who live in fear. Years they live in fear. I think I love him. I think I love her. I don't know. I'm afraid to open my heart up. I know people who have lived years thinking, feeling, hoping, believing they loved someone. But in the midst of thinking, hoping, and feeling that they love, they somehow had a slight amount of fear and trepidation and anxiety about opening their heart up to love. Let me just tell you, open your heart up to love and don't block it. Andy Cutler, I love you too. You're the highest source of my love next to God. And then with all of this, you all, I'm just trying to help us to receive love. And then with all of this, let's be aware. Let's be aware that just as we're celebrating the fact, and this is just me being facetious because I'm not really given to astrology or to Greek mythology or any of that, but so I just need to be facetious. I just need to put that caveat out for a moment. But just as much as today we think that's Cupid, pulling his bow and let it, pull back your bow and let your arrow flow. Just as much as we think all of that is happening today. Not only um, is there this notion of sharing love, but there's a lot of societal negativity, just a lot, because they're just negative. There's some negative people, and a lot of people have been conditioned to be negative. You all, you give a compliment, they think there's something behind it. You show generosity, they think you have an ulterior motive. You do something that suggests that you care, they think that you're looking for a return on your investment. That's this negativity that society just tends to perpetuate. They look for people to be greedy and prideful and selfish and all of that kind of stuff, instead of just loving and caring and generous and all of that. Make sure that you don't fall victim to the societal negativity that is perpetuated. Y'all, I got to get out of here. Bottom line is, show love. Show love. I can't encourage that enough. Show love. I know one of the things that the pandemic did was just mess us up. It messed up our abilities to touch. It messed up our abilities to hug. It messed up our abilities to hold hands. It messed up our abilities. It interfered with all of that. But to the extent that you can, and use your own judgment, to the extent that you can, you all, love is about expressing itself. So hug your friends, hug your family members, compliment your colleagues, say nice things, say friendly things, say complimentary things. When you walk in the store and you see the clerk at the supermarket, say nice things, you all. Do it on a regular basis. Show love, receive love, open yourselves up to love, and give love. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you all. From my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. Let's keep doing what we do. Let's keep building communities, maintaining connectivity, keep your heads up, your hopes up, stay safe, stay sane. And again, happy Valentine's Day. From my heart to yours, there is and always will be lots of love. And I mean it. Good night. I'll see you all next time.